153,000 Americans lost their jobs in just 1 month. But the stock market increased. In America today, when you get fired, Wall Street calls it a good sign. In this inverted world, the restructuring message lines are written in the language of coldness. Cut down, refactoring, optimally, lifting performance. It all sounds reasonable, until you realize behind each of those phrases is a human folding a bucket, walking out of the building where they spent half their lives working. October 2025, Challenger, Gray and Christmas recorded more than 1.1 million jobs wiped out in the year, pushing that number to a 2-decade high. But the paradox is, corporate profits are still rising, GDP is fine, and their stocks are all going up. A place that once believed that work hard, get ahead, now becomes a place where work harder, get replaced. The rest of the machine worked without pay, waited for the check to arrive, and wondered if they would still be able to survive tomorrow. This is not just a story of losing your job. This is the collapse of labor value as stability becomes a fairy tale and fear becomes the new standard of society. In today's video, we're going to decipher why the economy is still growing while workers are exhausted, and what's really happening to America, behind the aura of an economy prosperity that everyone is praising. You might think that being fired is an inevitable consequence of an economic downturn, of a broken global supply chain, or of some domino effect in the job market. But in America in 2025, dismissal is no longer an accident. It has become a new ritual of modern corporations. According to an October 2025 report by Challenger, Gray and Christmas, in just 1 month, 153,074 Americans lost their jobs, a figure nearly 3 times higher than the same period last year. Since the beginning of the year until now, the total number of write-offs has exceeded 1,995, equivalent to the entire city of San Francisco having just been removed from the US jobs map, or the entire population of Austin simultaneously losing their livelihoods. This is the highest layoff since 2005, marking a sad record for the economy's new era of prosperity. The irony is that, according to Reuters, this wave of cuts did not come amid the recession. In contrast, the US economy is still growing positively. The stock market is still peaking, and many corporations are still reporting record profits. In official reports, more than 60% of the reasons are stated as cost-cutting and restructuring. 2 phrases sound reasonable, but hide a heartbreaking reality. Many companies are not in financial trouble, even reporting increased profits compared to the previous quarter. Yet thousands of employees still receive layoff emails just days after the company announced its impressive business results. Some workers also shared that they received severance notices on the day the company celebrated achieving its annual profit target. This story is no longer unique. It repeats to the point of becoming a recurring motif, a ritual that everyone knows will happen, just don't know when it's their turn. Technology, retail, and logistics industries are the top 3 sectors in terms of number of cuts, accounting for more than half of all job losses nationwide, according to Challenger's internal data. The technology industry alone saw more than 180,000 jobs wiped out, equivalent to 16% of the US private workforce in the 3rd quarter alone. A 6-digit number on the statistics table seems dry, but for workers, that is sometimes the final end. Every number is an untold story. Is the father wrapping lunch with food stamps? A single mother wonders if next month she will still have enough insurance to buy milk for her baby. An elderly person quietly returns to the stall to work part-time just to have money to buy high blood pressure medicine. Meanwhile, their company's balance sheet is still green, only their lives are getting red because of worries. The most paradoxical thing is that the market received the news of layoffs as a positive signal. According to records, shares of many large corporations increased from 2 to 6% in just 48 hours after announcing staff cuts. A CEO was also quoted as saying that this is how to show financial responsibility to shareholders. In a country that once celebrated labor, now cutting someone's life becomes a testament to leadership. This phenomenon is called ritualized fire by observers. It is no longer associated with crises, but with the financial reporting beauty cycle. As a seasonal ritual, every quarter thousands of people are removed from the system to maintain a strong restructuring image. According to Daily Mail, many people call this the new taboo of holiday season. The new obsession of the holiday season, when tens of thousands of people lose their jobs right before Christmas. The economy is fine. Profits are still high, but people seem to have become overcosts that must be cut. That rationalization is clothed in the beauty of the numbers that are gradually distorting the moral value of American labor relations. There is an irony happening in America in 2025. Millions of people continue to work every day, but are no longer sure they will be paid for their efforts. In a society that once boasted that anyone who worked hard could move forward, that story now seems to be just a legend. According to a report by the Bureau of Wages and Hours of Work, WHD, of the US Department of Labor, in the 2021-2023 period alone, the agency recovered more than $1.5 billion in unpaid wages for workers, the highest figure in more than a decade. Behind that seemingly dry number are hundreds of thousands of stories about people deprived of the most seemingly basic thing: the right to be paid for their efforts. Most of the misappropriated money comes from wage thefts, such as not paying overtime, delaying payments, or not paying after a worker quits. In many lawsuits, businesses still report interest, pay dividends, and hold profit celebration parties in the same quarter that they owe employees' salaries. Some companies even intentionally extend the pay period by 30 to 60 days on the grounds that maintains its cash flow despite practically no financial difficulties. On the social network Reddit, the phrase "working without pay" became a widespread obsession. Hourly workers in the logistics, catering, or healthcare industry recount tiring working days without knowing when their pay will return. One person wrote, "My company promised to pay after completing the project, then shut up. Now, I've been working for 3 weeks without pay." In many places, workers accept to continue working without pay just to retain the right to be sick, as their health insurance is closely tied to the employment contract. But the issue does not stop at the private sector. During the US government shutdown on October 1, 2025, according to the Bipartisan Policy Center, up to 730,000 federal employees still had to work without pay, while another 670,000 were furloughed. In total, nearly 1.4 million civil servants were directly affected, an unprecedented number. On PBS NewsHour and The Guardian, many civil servants recounted that they had to use their savings, even going to food banks to get by. A 57-year-old employee who spent 25 years working at the Federal Transportation Safety Administration said bitterly, "I never thought I would have to line up to receive food relief after all these years of service to the country." The harshness also comes from the administrative system itself. According to the Office of Budget Management, furloughed staff are not guaranteed retroactive pay unless Congress passes a new budget containing a reimbursement clause, meaning hundreds of thousands of people from air traffic controllers to airport security staff are working in the scene, knows how to do, but doesn't know when to get paid. A TSA employee shared, "I run hundreds of flights every day, but the bills are still piling up. We are keeping the sky safe, but no one is keeping our lives safe." When even government employees are forced to work for free, the concept of stable seems to have lost its meaning. And somewhere in the heart of cities that still have lights on, people are witnessing an unprecedented paradox. The economy is still growing, but the people who keep it running are working without pay. Experts call this the labor ethics crack, as society sees both the public and private sectors put profit and politics above people. Perhaps the scariest thing is not those who are unemployed, but those who are still working, but are no longer paid. Because when effort is overlooked and wages become vague promises, what keeps Americans believing that hard work is still the way up? In America today, there is a strange paradox. While millions of people are laid off, recruitment sites are flooded with positions that are hiring urgently, like a thriving job market. But if you try applying, you will soon realize that most of those jobs don't really exist. On Reddit and LinkedIn, thousands of people have spoken out about the phenomenon of ghost jobs, ghost recruitment news. They're posts that are in full swing, but there's no interviewer, no response, and sometimes not even a real budget to hire anyone. According to Business Insider's summary, this phenomenon is spreading in large corporations, companies that have just announced layoffs, but at the same time still post job postings. Purpose? Keep the company image looking is growing. One person shared, "I have submitted more than 200 applications. There are only 2 response places, and both are automated chatbots." This story is not strange. Many companies are found to post fake news just to keep the candidate pipeline, meaning they want to maintain a list of potential candidates in case they need to hire real candidates in the future. Others post to collect labor market data, information about desired salary, popular skills, job search trends, to cater for internal HR analysis algorithms. But for job seekers, especially those over 50 years old, that feeling is like applying in space. A person who worked as a software engineer for 25 years shared, "I spent weeks writing application letters, editing CVs, then realized I was talking to no one." They call it hollow hope, empty hope. The consequence is not just a waste of time. It erodes trust in American labor market transparency. When virtual jobs trump real opportunities, unemployed people feel trapped in the invisible game, where the system creates the illusion of opportunity just to maintain superficial order. Those ghost jobs are like neon lights on a blacked-out street, is still bright, still inviting, but only to hide the darkness behind. And perhaps the cruelest thing is not the lack of opportunity, but the fact that people make you believe that the opportunity remains, while that door has never really opened. If in the past, layoffs were often associated with recessions or financial crises, then in the US in 2025, perpetrators is something no one can see. Algorithms and automated processes. Machines that never sleep, never ask for a raise, and also never have to worry about medical bills, are slowly, silently, but radically replacing humans. According to an October 2025 report by Challenger, Gray and Christmas, up to 31,039 jobs were eliminated directly due to the SECHM, artificial intelligence, AI, application, the highest level since the agency began tracking the category. And that number is just the tip of the iceberg. The majority of these are located in the administrative, customer service, and accounting departments. Jobs that were once considered stable now become easy to replace assets in the machine learning era. On the forums, many people recounted that they lost their jobs not because they did something wrong, but because the new software did it faster. One person wrote, "We were asked to teach AI how to do its job, and then the company gave us a break." The truth is so naked that it is hard to believe. People are being replaced by the tools they train. It's not just about technology. Outsourcing, export jobs, is becoming the second wave sweeping the US again. According to Times of India and Daily Mail, a series of technical customer care and data processing centers are being moved to India and Mexico, where labor costs are up to 70% lower. The irony is, many of these transferred jobs are positions that Americans have trained and mentored overseas employees in collaboration programs. American corporations no longer shy away when talking about this. They publicly admitted that restructured its staff to adapt to new technology and still announced increased profits each quarter. According to Analysts, the tech industry alone cut more than 180,000 jobs in 2025, nearly equal to the total of the previous 2 years combined. One executive calls it necessary optimization, essential optimization. But to workers, it's simply a soft way of saying for being replaced. From technology offices in California to warehouses in Texas, AI and outsourcing are jointly redefining the concept of labor. There is no longer a line between being replaced and being optimized by meister you. Both lead to one thing in common: fewer people, more pressure, and higher profits. The scary thing is, unlike previous crises, the cutters of this era have no faces. You can't negotiate with it. You can't convince it that you need the job. And as machines, software, and cross-border contracts become the ones who decide who deserves to be retained, the lines between economic efficiency and human values are gradually blurring. During the brilliant years of American dream, hard working was once considered the pride, was the honor of an adult. But in America of 2025, that's slowly becoming an ironic story. Many people describe their feelings as being turned into figures. Every decision in a company, from a raise to a cut, is based on a profit chart instead of real capacity or individual contributions. Such statements may sound normal, but to workers, they are like a cold knife. Because it shows clearly they are no longer human in that system. They are just costs to optimize. In their ancestors' generation, one could work a 20-year job, buy a house, raise children, and retire with some peace of mind. And now, 3 years in the same place has been considered a significant achievement. Another person said, "I have gone through 9 companies in 10 years. Not because they want to change jobs, but because companies keep disappearing, merging, or cutting back one by one." Phrases like "job security isn't real anymore" or "we're all temporary" appear densely in discussion topics. And behind them is not just fear, but a deep regret. America was once a place to build the future, and now it's just a place to try to survive the day. At the social level, that constitutes a quiet but dangerous phenomenon: the collapse of collective trust. When a generation that once believed that labor was glorious feels betrayed, skepticism spreads like fog. People no longer believe in the company, no longer believe in career path, and sometimes do not believe in the work they are doing. Generation by generation, human values are being redefined by "in a cold economy." People used to be the center of production and creativity is now a variable that can be cut out to improve profit margins. And when society begins to see people as costs, labor is no longer a foundation of honor, but just a risk that needs governance. No one knows what the future holds for jobs in America. But amid the sacking stories, AI and recruitment hallucinations, one thing is clear. We live in an age where human values must struggle to be recognized. Right in the very place where it was once celebrated most. In every newsletter, every report, and every official explanation, there is a scary coincidence. The majority of companies that are laying off thousands of people are profitable companies. According to Reuters, many large corporations in the US have announced large-scale layoffs to maintain spending discipline just days after reporting revenue exceeding forecasts. The numbers on the paper are congratulated as financial achievements, while the thousands of people who lost their jobs are referred to by a cold word: optimized. That paradox, where growth is built by human reduction, has become characteristic of the modern American economy. Every time the company claims efficient operations, stock prices increase, investors celebrate, and workers, who made that very profit, walk out of the building with the box carton in hand. The phrase Financial discipline. Financial discipline, which was seen as a symbol of corporate maturity, has now become a reverse moral symbol. When every decision is measured by cost cut and profit margin increase, the human becomes the only thing that is no longer valuable if it does not bring in immediate revenue. Many people believe that today's layoffs are no longer a response to the crisis, but a tool to profit from the crisis itself. Corporations cut staff to send signals to effectively manage to the financial markets. And the FRAS system is designed to reward that, immediately responds with rising stock prices. As a result, moral trust in the relationship between companies and workers is eroded faster than ever. In their parents' generation, Americans used to believe that if you were loyal to the company would be loyal to you. But in this generation, loyalty becomes naive. A fired person said, "We are no longer employees. We are the data line in the Excel table." From a community perspective, this is not just a job loss story. It is a deep moral rupture where the social contract between business and people is broken. When a society rewards cutting people as proof of financial discipline, then what remains on the scale is not just profit, but dignity. And perhaps the scariest thing lies not in how many people lose their jobs, but in the fact that we are used to it. When the fact that sacrifices humans is considered an inevitable to keep the system running, then perhaps that same system has lost its soul. Across America, there is a feeling that is spreading, temporary feeling of living. People no longer dare to talk about future plans because everything seems to only exist in the 2-week payroll cycle. Losing a job is not just a loss of income, but a loss of insurance, a loss of home, a loss of honor, and sometimes a loss of a sense of belonging to this society. On Reddit, hundreds of stories are shared every day. People who used to be office workers, engineers, accountants, now live in RVs, in tents, or in cars parked in supermarket lots. In many places, the image becomes hauntingly repetitive. Makeshift huts under luxury car billboards, parking lots that turn into city at night, where neon lights squirt down on the discolored car roofs. It's two America coexisting in one frame, an America of prosperity, and an America huddled right at its feet. However, in the middle of that dark picture, there are still small spots of light. In small communities across the country, people who have lost their jobs find each other. They share food, help each other rewrite profiles, teach vocational skills to the younger generation. In Arizona, a group of seniors offer free car repair classes to help those who are living in an RV manage on their own. In Seattle, community organizations give out free gas and supplies to families who have to stay temporarily in parking lots. Those small actions don't change the system, but remind people of what the forgotten numbers, compassion still exists. America was once built from the hands of people who believed that work was dignity. But if that belief disappears, not only will factories or offices collapse, but the soul of this country will also shake. America was once built on simple trust. If you work hard, you will be rewarded. But at this point, when more than 1.1 million jobs are wiped out, when hundreds of thousands of people are working without pay, and when whose human value is shrunk to just a line of data on the report board, that belief is more shaky than ever. What's scary is not just the numbers, but the emotional callousness. We're starting to get used to hearing about layoffs as a normal part of life. Getting used to the scenes of people who used to be co-workers now living in the car, used to seeing other people's pain as necessary costs for growth. However, amidst that coldness, there are still little people, sharing meals, retraining professions, opening garage doors into classrooms, and trying to remind each other that we still have each other. Maybe it's the rest of America where the numbers can't be measured. Compassion, community spirit, and the belief that labor still makes sense, even if the system forgets it. Can America still restore faith in people, in labor, in the very soul that created it? If this story makes you ponder, leave a comment below. Please share the video so that many others can see what is going on around us. And if you want to continue accompanying the real stories, pieces about an America that is changing every day, click like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. Because only when we speak the truth together will hope have the opportunity to be heard. All content in this video is built on public, transparent, and verified sources of information, including reports from Challenger, Gray & Christmas, Reuters, Business Insider, Daily Mail, Times of India, Interlicense, along with feedback from the workforce on Reddit and major social media platforms. The video is not intended to accuse or hold accountable any specific individual, organization, or corporation, but only reflects the current social picture from multiple perspectives: economics, people, and labor values. Any figures, quotes, and stories presented for public information and education purposes are not absolutely affirmative. Audiences are encouraged to self-verify information from official sources and form their own opinions,